Once again, coming in the ring will be the Purebred Bull Show. As we kick things off for the Shorthorn, this will be class number 4, early spring bull calves. These born March and April 2019. This is also your division championship, early spring bull calf division championship. Our judge from Thedford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman.
Well, it's fun when you have to make some major decisions over here. We could use that one, and that one's pretty good, and we go on down the line, and it just doesn't quit. That's what's really fun. And unfortunately, we've got a load of bulls to haul home with us, so we can't load all these heifers up and take them home with us. Man, wouldn't we have fun if they were all out there in our pasture? Absolutely, we would. I'm going to compliment, Wayne and I want to compliment the Chianina breed on, no, you didn't have lots of numbers, but quality was second to none, folks. They're good. They're really good. We were really, really excited when we got the phone call, and they asked us if we'd come and judge the key breed here today. Of course, we couldn't tell them no, because in our hearts, the key cattle are some of our favorite. But I tell you what, when you get back out here, it certainly reassures us more than ever that these are the kind of cattle that we like. Actually, all breeds of cattle out here. It doesn't matter what breed. There's been a bunch of good Charolais females, bulls over here on this side. The bulls were really good today. It doesn't matter. Good cattle are good cattle. And I think us as breeders and you out here as breeders, we just strive to make them better and better and better every day. But without a doubt, we've got one heck of a set of females out here. The bulls, although there was only 4 bulls out there, they were all really, really good. We're going to go out here and show you the 2 that, unfortunately, we can only show you the 2 that we like very best. But let's give every single one of these exhibitors, breeders, a great big hand. Exceptional, exceptional females out here.
Before we get into the bull division, I also like to thank the National Western for having Barb and I here today. When we started breeding our cattle 30-some years ago, this is where we started, was with the Chianina cattle. This is where our heart's always been. We raise several other breeds now as times change and go on. But I will tell you guys, they don't make them any better than this right here. This is good. I don't care if you're on this side of the ring watching this show or if you're watching the Chianina breed over here. These cattle are incredible. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's always a pleasure to do it with my wife. There's nobody I'd rather do it with. Thank you, National Western, for having us. We'll go out here and show you the ones we like, and I'll guarantee you there's a lot of them we would take home. Congratulations.
Once again, those comments from our judge, Wayne and Barb Ulrich from Norfolk, Nebraska. Grand champion Kedina female is 3087 out of the early spring yearling division. That's class 107 as well. J. Sol, Hudat Steiner, Sarah Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. That'll move 31-34 into consideration for reserve.
Well, good morning. Excellent cattle people over there judging the Key Show for sure. They would do a lot, and it's nice to be out here judging again this morning, especially alongside the ring with people like the Orlicks over there judging. In the Shorthorn Bull Show, the calf that wins this class is more masculine than the bull in second, all the way from his head back to his testicles and his pin set and his bone and his feet. This calf's got excellent feet and structure, and I think that's what really sorts him up where he does. He's not as deep profiling as our calf there in second, but he's bolder sprung. He's better right there behind his shoulder. To me, he's got more muscle over his top and back to his upper hip, but the big thing that sorts this pair is foot quality and structure. The calf here in second, he's a little bit flatter up through his head and jaw, and he's just a little bit flatter throughout. I think there's a lot of good in this calf. He's very striking. He's well presented. He's exceptionally good up through that head and neck. I just like to see more shape to him, like our class winner throughout. I think there's a tremendous amount of good, and he's even just a little bit flatter in his testicle development as well. Just a really attractive calf, and he's the second soundest calf in the class as well. This bull here in the third is really, really typey. He's a neat calf to look at, especially on the standstill. For my liking, he's just a little bit small-footed. Love the shape in him and the neck and the shape of rib and the muscle, and like to straighten his testicles up a little bit, but I think in the long haul probably what's going to get him or set him back even further is structure. Same with this calf here in fourth. Like a lot of things about him. Like his length and like his performance, and he's got some shape to him. He's got some ruggedness to him. He just gets a little too short and choppy striding for me to get any higher. Like to put a bigger foot underneath this calf and give him more true testicle shape, but a nice calf. The really high-performing bull of the class here, this red and white calf, a lot of good to him. Really, really rugged, really massive, a little too mature relative to the class. I think with that he gets just a little bit choppy and short and just a little bound up in his structure. Here's the pounds light calf of the class, has least amount of WDA. He is really long and extended and smooth up through that shoulder. I think in time it'll be definitely an advantage for this calf. Like to see some more testicle under him as well. But for men, then, a nice class of Shorthorn bulls.
Catch up on results here in just a moment on the Shorthorn Show. Going back over to our Kenina Open Female Show. Your reserve grand champion, Kenina Female, is 30-63. That is out of Class 102B in your late junior heifer division. J. Sol, Hudat Darlin, Sarah Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. She takes grand and reserve. We're in a picture break. After pictures, we get to the Kenina Bulls. We have two classes, which are also divisions, and then a grand drive. Over on the Shorthorn side, our first class there, Class 4, as placed by our judge, Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska, would be early spring bull calves and your early spring bull calf division championship. First place in champion, 5607, Steck Hotshot, Mason Walker, Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Second in reserve, 5580, Little Cedar Worldwide. That would be Little Cedar Cattle Company, Beaverton, Michigan, NX Farms, LLC, Centennial, Colorado. Third, 5582, Drag Redemption, Allison Dragstrom from Amboy, Indiana. Fourth, 5583, Berg's Red Warrior, Craig Shorthorns, Lowry, Minnesota. Fifth, 5585, Carnegie, Molly Kreitzer, Talina, Oklahoma. Sixth, 5586, Dapper Man, Hidden Paradise Ranch, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Program placings for Class 4 are 6, 5, 4, scratch, 1 in champion, 3, 2 in reserve. As I mentioned in the ring, Junior Bull Calves Class 7. This is also your Junior Bull Calf Division Championship.
Really stout built, stout top bull over here in the Canyon ring. Really nice long spine bull that when you put him out on the move is a really nice sound structure bull.
Over on the 2020 National Western Open Keeneina Bull Show with our judges Wayne and Barb Ulrich from Norfolk, Nebraska. Class 202 was in the ring. That is also your early Junior Bull Calf Division champion. First place in champion, 3094, Guts De Niro, Mia Encinias from Moriarty, New Mexico. Up next, the single entry, Class 204, and also your Summer Yearling Division Championship. After that, Grand Champion Keeneina Bull selection.
Another single entry over here on the Keeneina bull side. Really, really nice made bull. Just a bull that's packed full of a lot of meat and muscle from end to end. Got some depth of body to him. You put him out on the move. You certainly have to appreciate that about him. In terms of muscle to bone ratio, the bull, he's not a huge bone bull, but he's a bull that looks like you maybe take him home, turn him out on heifers. But you certainly have to like everything he's got about him and the way he puts himself together. Really nice bull out here.
Result on Class 204 and your Summer Yearling champion, first place in champion, 3097. That is Track Enabler 850F, Tracy Cattle Company, Wellfleet, Nebraska, Levi's Wern, Otis, Colorado. Up next, Grand Champion Keeneina Bull selection. First, or the champions from each division back in the ring for that. Judges once again, Wayne and Barb Ulrich from Norfolk, Nebraska. They own and operate a purebred cow-calf operation consisting of 140 head of Keys, Maines, Angus, and Semis. They believe in quality. Currently, they have 2 online sales in the fall and an annual bull sale. Their one coming up here February 7th will be their 13th annual bull sale. Wayne and Barb Ulrich from Norfolk, Nebraska are judges for the Grand Champion Keeneina Bull selection.
Two really nice bulls out here in this division out here. The black and white bull, as we said before, when you get behind him, he is really stout, has a big old top in him. When you put him out on the move, he's sure flexible enough, but maybe he ever so slightly gets up on his top when he gets on the move, but that's being real critical of him. But a really stout, constructed individual. Bull that's going to come out here in the second class, really a long spine bull, really deep body bull, really smooth up in that front shoulders, moderate in his bone work, but one that you can go out and do a lot of things with him. Really, really flexible. This one's going to go ahead and he's going to win this division out here, and the young ladies will be reserved. Congratulations.
Another nice class of Shorthorn bulls over here. This is the bigger footed bull of the pair that took me a little bit to sort there. This calf's just a little bit more rugged up through his head and neck, and that complements his foot size and testicle size as well. I think with that he's got more shape and top in him. He's a bolder sprung bull. Just a really good kind of a bull to look at. The calf here in second, when he come in, I thought this would probably be the class winner, but I think the longer he's out here, both these bulls twist out just a little bit more, but I think than what I'd like, but this calf does it with just a smaller foot as well. I think with that he's just a little bit tighter and restricted back in that stifle and hock than our class winner. I just like to loosen him up off both ends, but this calf's got a lot to offer. Got some shape to him, got some meat in him, just a really good kind of a calf. Both of them have more depth and just probably doing ability than the calf here in third. Really a long extended calf is just kind of a little bit too tubular for me to get any higher. With that, I'd like to put a bigger foot under the calf as well and make him more flexible when he goes. The calf here in fourth, like a lot of things about it, he's just more narrow constructed, and that starts from the ground up. He's a little bit more in at that knee. When you get behind him, he really wants to funnel into that quarter, just a little bit flatter. I do like how deep he is, and he's got some performance in him. Like him in terms of his composition. He's a leaner made calf. Just like to put a little bit more to him. I do think he's enough more easy doing than this roan calf here that follows him. I think this calf's a little bit tighter in that heart, forerib, and flank. With that, he's just a little bit more restricted in his movement as well. I think they're all quite a ways further along than the red calf that concludes the class here. This calf is exceptionally green. And the neat thing about this calf is, for as green as he is, he's actually really got some top in him. He's a big testicled calf that's got some good to offer as well.
Catch up on results in just a moment on the Shorthorn side. Let's go back over to the grand champion selection for Kenina Bull, as called by Wayne and Barb Ulrich from Norfolk, Nebraska. Your grand champion, Kenina Bull, is 30.97. That's out of the Summer Yearling Division and Class 204. That's Track Enabler 850F. Tracy Cattle Company, Wellfleet, Nebraska, and Levi's Wern, Otis, Colorado. Your reserve grand champion, Kenina Bull, is 30.94 out of Class 202 in the Early Junior Bull Division. That is BCR Guts De Niro, Mia Encinias, Moriarty, New Mexico. Thanks once again to the entire Kenina staff that's helped us and the junior board members as well, and Wayne and Barb Ulrich from Norfolk, Nebraska. Thank you. Back over on the Shorthorn side for the Purebred Bull Show. In the ring next with our judge Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska. This will be Class 11 Senior Bull Calves, 2 entries. This is also your Senior Bull Calf Division Championship. Trying to roll through these results on that last class in division. Class 7, first place and champion for the division is 55.91 PVF Justice 3G, Paint Valley Farms, Millersburg, Ohio. Second in reserve is 55.92 DeGroot Red Zone, Tyler DeGroot, Edgerton, Minnesota. Third, 55.89. That is Longshot Hugh Moore, Jr. and Sons, Jerseyville, Illinois. Fourth, 55.93, Jenna's Apollo, Jenna Bisbeer from Reedsburg, Wisconsin. Fifth is 55.90, Zena's Crusader, Riley Eisenhower from Yuma, Colorado. 6:55.88, Showman, Frederick and Emily Golomboski from Schneider, Colorado. Up next, once again, like I said, Class 11. This is also your Senior Bull Calf Division Championship.
Going to use the more stylish bull in this class here, but I think the big thing is just foot quality. I like him quite a bit better at the ground, how he's made and the depth of that heel and the shape of his foot and how his toes have come together relative to the bull here in second. I think with that this bull's very attractive. He's a more up-headed bull that's leveler in his back. He's good out to his pins. This bull here in second's got more shape. He's a pounds heavier bull that's got more ruggedness in him. The big concern for me and a big priority is foot quality. I'd like to help him out a little bit there. But I really like a lot of things about your bull in terms of all that shape and masculinity. I think he wins the class, but I think we got to draw the line a little bit there at the feet and just at the ground. But two really good bulls that have a lot to offer.
Here's results on Class 11 Senior Bull Calves and your Senior Bull Calf Division Championship. First place and champion, 55-97, 6B's Watchman, 6B Farms, Allison, Iowa. Second in the class and reserve champion, 55-98, LCCC, Latitude 1875, Jennifer Ruby, Howells, Nebraska, Emily Check, Clarkson, Nebraska. Up next, we move to Class 18, Early Spring Yearling Bulls. Should be 3 entries, and this will also be your Junior Bull Division Championship. Class 18, Early Spring Yearling Bulls, and your Junior Champion Bull selection. Judge, once again, as I mentioned, is Thedford, Nebraska's Jason Hoffman, a graduate of Kansas State University. He grew up on a registered cow-calf operation. Currently, they ranch in the Nebraska Sandhills and sell Hereford, Angus, and Sim Angus. Their production sales are in February and September, and they market over 500 bulls and 500 females each and every year. Once again, our judge from Thedford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman. Also helping us with today's show is the 2019-20 National Shorthorn Lassie Queen. It's Desiree Lodgson of Amanda, Ohio, currently a senior at Wilmington College studying agriculture business with a minor in accounting. She's the daughter of Barry and Renee Lodgson and the granddaughter of the late Bob and Murdy Foster. Desiree is a third-generation Shorthorn breeder representing her family farm, Foster Farms. She exhibits Shorthorn cattle at the state and national levels. She's currently the president of the Ohio Shorthorn Junior Association. Put your hands together for our National Shorthorn Lassie Queen, Desiree Logsden. Desiree Logsden of Amanda, Ohio.
Really unique breeding piece is this bull that'll win the class here. Like a lot of things about him, like how he's made up through his head. Really a long neck bull that's laid in good at his shoulder. I think he's the best footed bull in here by quite a bit. With that, he's a big testicled bull that's got some forerib and some heart to him. Carries back good to his flank. Not just totally heavy muscled or as much as shape as maybe what I desire, but I think he's a very fault-free kind of a bull that just wins because he's just so pure and honest and really got something to him. Sound on his feet and legs, just a really kind of a good bull to start the class here. The bull here in second's a very good bull to look at from the profile. Really long and extended and a long spine bull. He's a little more tubular in his rib design. I'd like to deepen him up just a little bit. Not as masculine either as our class winner up through that head and all the way back to his testicles, but I think this is a bull that's just more mobile. I think he's more right in terms of his composition than the bull that follows or that concludes the class here. This bull, he's got a little more grease on him maybe than what's ideal, and I think it's starting to conflict with his movement and how he moves up out of that front end. He's a little bit pigeon-toed. Like to change him out of his shoulder placement, but boy, you talk about a bull that's got a lot of guts and some testicle and some pin set and muscle in him. That's a pretty good bull to be third.
Here's results on Class 18 Early Spring Yearling Bulls and your division championship for the Junior Bull. First place and champion 5602 CFSF Upper Hand XET, Kate's Farms, Modoc, Indiana, Simon Farms, Rockford, Ohio, Schufler Shorthorns, Fortville, Indiana. Second in reserve 5605 AFVF Fast Track 835 ET, Davis Farms, Manhattan, Kansas, Adeline Vaughn, Maxwell, Iowa, Emily Check, Clarkson, Nebraska. Third 5601 Red Rider, 5J Farms LLC, Olney Springs, Colorado. Up next, we have two classes within the next division. Our first class of the two is Class 22 Senior Yearling Bulls. 2 entries. So we have 2 classes, a division championship, then we'll have the Grand Champion Bull selection.
Here's a moderate framed, exceptionally long-bodied bull. Relative to his frame, he's just got a tremendous amount of length to him. I'd like to see him just a little bit looser at the ground and probably just a little bit taller fronted, but I think there's a lot of good in this bull. He's got a lot of foot quality, got some testicle shape to him, just a really good kind of a bull. It's really wide pin. Just like to see him move just a little bit more comfortable in his spine all the way to the ground when he gets around. Bull here in seconds, just a little bit flatter in his makeup. There's still some good in this bull. He's relatively sound. He's got some length to him. He's got some width to his pin set. When you watch him walk behind, he's got some width of base. Just a really good kind of a bull. Nice pair of bulls here in the senior class.
Up next, Class 23, a single entry for 2-year-old bulls. Then we'll have our division championship. Here's the results on Class 22, the first of 2 classes within this division. First place, 56-13, Sell Current Commodity, 76-30E, Sullivan Farms, Dunlap, Iowa. Second, 56-09, Pfizer's Ranger, Cash Farm Shorthorns, Amarillo, Texas. Judge once again, Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska, in with our single entry Class 23.
Long extended single entry bull that come here in his working clothes. Got some length to him, really a raw made bull, really long and extended up through that front end, laid in neat at his shoulder. Like to change his foot quality a little bit, but I think this is a really good single entry bull.
Class 23, result 56-11 is first. That's HEC 1701 Thor's Echo, Colton Holsey, Red Oak, Oklahoma. First and seconds back in the ring from classes 22 and 23. This year's senior champion bull selection with our judge, Jason Hoffman, Thedford, Nebraska. After this, grand champion bull selection. I'd like to send a thank you out to Shorthorn Country Magazine for sponsoring the banners for the National Shorthorn Show. Thank you, Shorthorn Country Magazine.
Good division of bulls here represented without a lot of numbers. We'll keep the first place bull and the second place bull together for champion and reserve division here. Young man, you'll be reserve division following that bull up there.
Senior bull champion is 56-13. That's sold current commodity, Sullivan Farms, Dunlap, Iowa. The reserve comes from the same class 22 as your champion, 56-09. Pfizer's Ranger, Cash Farm Shorthorns, Amarillo, Texas. Amarillo, Texas. Grand champion bull selection coming in the ring next year. Champ reserves from each of our divisions. Our judge once again, Jason Hoffman, Thedford, Nebraska. Graduate of Kansas State University. Grew up on a registered cow-calf operation. He has a ranch in the Nebraska Sandhills. They sell Hereford, Angus, and Sem-Angus, and their production sales are in February and September. They market over 500 bulls and 500 females each and every year. Our judge, Jason Hoffman, Thedford, Nebraska, for this grand champion Shorthorn bull selection. Just a quick announcement, the National Shorthorn Show is dedicated to the Jungles Shorthorn Farm in memory of Derek Jungles.
really a lot of quality for not a huge show when we get back out here and sort through these bulls. The bulls you can use a lot of pieces of if you're breeders and, you know, not knowing any of the genetics or anything. You know, you merge all that together, but I know just in terms of quality when we get out here, these bulls have a lot to offer a lot of places. And I do go out and look at these as bulls I'd want to use if we were in the breed and you know, kind of the first bull you'd buy semen on or however things fall just in terms of quality and just to sort through. I think this is a nice lineup of bulls, and I'll go out and pick you a grand in reserve here.
Your grand champion Shorthorn bull comes out of that first division, early spring bull calf division, 5607 WSCC Steck Hotshot 950G, Mason Walker, Prairie Grove, Arkansas. That'll move 5580 into consideration for reserve. And your reserve grand champion, Shorthorn bull, comes to the same class as your grand champion for the 2020 National Western. It is 5580. Reserve grand champion, that's Little Cedar Cattle Company, Beaverton, Michigan, Enix Farms, LLC, Centennial, Colorado, with Little Cedar Worldwide, 1979 ET. Up next in the purebred female show will begin class number 1. Our first class will also be a division. But we'll see if there's pictures.
It all starts with a dream, which turns into dedicating early mornings, late nights, long days in the show barn, and thousands of miles traveling down the road to the next one. The hours, sweat, and perseverance put into achieving these aspirations seem small in comparison to the bigger picture as it becomes a reality. And although you believed you were working toward the goal of banners and buckles, you later realized it was for something much more. Leaving your legacy isn't easy. It takes hard work, dedication, and a never give up attitude. But it's within these moments that champions are defined and dreams come true. Sullivan Supply, helping you build your legacy.
Champion Heifer Drive. There'll be a drawing for the 50-50 drawing supporting the Lassie Association. The pot right now is up to 1,300. Tickets are still available. If you'll come down towards the show ring area right down here in front of me, she'll get you signed up if you want to still support this Heifer Drive drawing, the 50-50 drawing, supporting the Lassie Association. If you want tickets, there's still time to purchase those tickets. Once again, while we've got just a moment here, we'd like to thank our stadium arena sponsors. They include Big Bubba's, and it's lunchtime right now. If you're getting that urge for some great food while you're here at the National Western, don't forget the South Food Court. You can find mouth-watering ribs at Big Bubba's Bad Barbecue and everything garlic at Garlicki's, and juicy hamburgers with all the fixings at Good Old Burger. Great service and great food, thanks to Big Bubba's. Also want to thank John Deere, the official agriculture and turf equipment provider of the National Western. Visit your local John Deere dealer for great deals now, and remember, nothing runs like a Deere. Huge thank you to Saunders Construction, locally founded in 1972, and now one of the largest and most stable construction companies in the state. Saunders offers well-paid positions with opportunities for career growth. If you're interested in your next career and your next opportunity, visit www.saundersinc.com for more information. Also new this year, a sponsor, the Colorado Farm Show, proud to support the National Western. They invite you to attend.
It all starts with a dream, which turns into dedicating early mornings, late nights, long days in the show barn, and thousands of miles traveling down the road to the next one. The hours, sweat, and perseverance put into achieving these aspirations seem small in comparison to the bigger picture as it becomes a reality. And although you believed you were working toward the goal of banners and buckles, you later realized it was for something much more. Leaving your legacy isn't easy. It takes hard work, dedication, and a never-give-up attitude. But it's within these moments that champions are defined and dreams come true. Sullivan Supply, helping you build your legacy.
Looks like we're ready to restart after pictures. We'll jump into the Shorthorn Purebred Female Show. Our judge, once again, Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska. Our first class is class number 1, late spring heifer calves. This is also a division championship. 4 entries scheduled to come in.
really a trio of excellent heifer calves to start the Shorthorn female sale here, or show, excuse me. There's a lot of give and take from first to 2 and 3 because she's different. And, you know, I get out here and I was just thinking, man, this is a really good set of heifers. Which one would I like to take and go on and make a yearling out of? And it's this solid red heifer here. Really good up through that neck, got some shape to her forerib, good out to her pins. She's good underneath. I think she's got as much foot quality and structural soundness as anything in this class, too. Really good type of a heifer to start here. There's just more of this heifer than the heifer in third. They are peas in a pod, too. I like how angular this heifer is and how she's made up from her shoulder into her neck. Really a deep-sided heifer, deeper than our class winner right now. Maybe just a little bit tighter in some ways too, like up on top of that shoulder and in her loin. I think the big thing for me, she's just a little too soft on her hind feet on the ground for me. Like to see some more heel there and a little more strength of that pastern, but an excellent heifer. And she's probably got more condition than what you see from the outside for this stage of the game, but a really nice type of a heifer. This heifer here in third, like I say, 2 and 3 are just almost identical. But the heifer here in third is a little bit shorter strided, not quite as much bone as the 2 heifers in front of her, not quite as much cow as the second place heifer. But from top to bottom, again, an excellent class of heifers.
Here's results on Class 1 late spring heifer calves and your division championship. First place in champion 54-56, Steck WSCC, Chelsea, HC 911G, Keegan Steck, Woodstock, Minnesota. Second and reserve champion of the division, 54-58, CF, CSF, Cumberland, 9102HC, XET, Carter Wickard, Wilkinson, Indiana. Third, 54-55, CF Crystals, Lucy, 9100, RKXET, Simon Farms, Rockford, Ohio. Program placings for Class 1 and the division are as follows. Scratch, 2 in reserve, 3, 1 in champion. In the ring next, Class 4, these will be early spring heifer calves, born April 2019. Looks like we have 3 classes in this division, the early spring heifer calf division. Judge once again, Jason Hoffman from Thetford, Nebraska.
Nice heifer here. When she first come out in the class, I thought maybe she's a little bit too quick pattern for me, and she is somewhat that way. But I think the thing is she's probably as honest on her feet as any of the heifers in the class here. She's got some dimension to her. She's got some shape to her. She's got some substance to her. Just a really fault-free kind of a heifer. Is she going to go on and have as much gas as the heifer here in second? No, she's not. But is she better on her feet and structure? Yes. This heifer here in second on the standstill, this is probably the heifer I would take home to make the yearling out of the whole lineup. The problem is how she wants to roll in on those front feet. I'd just like to make her a little bit more comfortable off that front end, but a big high-performing type of heifer. The heifer here in third, she too is just a little bit quicker patterned up through that head. I wish the angle of her neck come out higher out of her shoulder. She's a deep-sided heifer that's square back to her pins, but I'd just like to loosen her up in her spine and pick that neck up a little bit when you ask her to go. A very youthful heifer's the heifer here the young lady has. This roan heifer's awfully good. She's not as far along as those heifers ahead of her, but she's a nice patterned heifer. Just don't know if there's ever going to be enough female there to be any more competitive than what she is today. This heifer's got a lot of good to offer too. She's a little bit straighter on both ends, doesn't have as much true flank in her as what's ideal, just gets a little too posty off those hind legs too when you ask her to go, but she's got enough more bone and foot under her to go ahead and get over this heifer here. It concludes the class. Like to change the way this heifer gets off of her rear hind legs. When you ask her to go, I'd like to loosen her up in that hip and carry it all the way down to the ground and put a little more foundation of foot. But she's really a long level heifer. Relative to her size, she's very complete.
Here's the results on class number 4. First place, 5473, Rockin' Revival, Kaya Hendrickson, St. Ignatius, Montana. Second place, 5475, Little Cedar Margie, Benjamin Allen, Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. Third, 5478, Majesty Rose, Brian Jordan, Washington Island, Wisconsin. In fourth, 5470, Miss Lulu, Jada Wood, McCook, Nebraska. In fifth, 5479, Queen of Evolution, Kaya Hendrickson, St. Ignatius, Montana. Sixth, 5474, Lucky Charm, Jaden Schneider, Stanley, Wisconsin. Coming up next in the ring will be Class 5. Here's the results on Class 4 in order for your programs. 5, 3, 2, 6, 1, 4. Once again, early spring heifer calves. Class 5 coming in the ring. Our second of 3 classes in this early spring heifer calf division. Judge once again, Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska.
A very solid, very complete type of heifer relative to this class wins here. I like a lot of things about this heifer. She's very feminine for as much rib as she's got. She's good back to her pins, but I think the best thing about this heifer is the foundation of foot she's got under her relative to the two heifers here in second and third. Young man does an excellent job showing her. Just a very complete heifer with all the right basics. The heifer here in second is probably as highly presented as any heifer in the class here, and she's better on her feet than some. But I'd just like to give her a shot more bone, make her a little bit taller fronted, and just loosen her up as she goes. She's just a little bit tight. Love the presentation. A lot of time's been put in on this heifer. The heifer here in third, when she's on the standstill, you think this is the one to make a yearling right here. She's just a little too restricted in her movement. Again, her fit job is amazing. She's really dialed in. Nice job. I'd just like to see a little more true substance to this heifer. Very feminine up through that front end. When she's standing there, she's the one that gets your attention and brings you to her. But I don't see her just staying quite sound enough for my liking as she matures. The heifer here in fourth, just a little bit more restricted herself, primarily off of her hind end. I'd like to loosen her up and give her more bone and carry that bone down all the way into her feet. But she is more complete in this heifer that concludes the class. This heifer's a little bit more tucked up in her flank, got a little bit more leg under her. Maybe that's what's ideal relative to how the rest of her body's made. But she too is very long and extended and a feminine made heifer that's got a lot of good to offer.
Here's results on Class 5, our second of three classes in this early spring heifer calf division. First place, 5,500, Little Cedar, missing Mirage RW 1916 ET, Colton Greenhorn, Millbrook, Ohio. Second, 5493. Red Groove, Kaliana Mills, Murphy's, California. Third, 5496. Sunflower, Mackenzie Lowry, Boise City, Texas. Fourth, 5490. Augusta Pride, Jaden Schneider, Stanley, Wisconsin. Fifth, 5498. That would be Minor Mystic, Kelsey Kudai from Boyd, Wisconsin. Program placings for Class 5 are 1, 5. Top of the next page, 3, 2, 4. In the ring, our final class in this division for our championship for the division, Class 6, early spring heifer calves. These born March 1st through March 7th, 2019. Judge once again from Thetford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman.
Nice pair of heifer calves up here on the front end. The heifer that wins the class, she's probably the most mature heifer out here, but I think she's got a lot of good to her as well. She's got some honest rib and shape in her. She's got some hip to her. She's got a shot more bone than some. Just a very stout-made kind of a heifer that's very complete. In some ways, she's just a little bit coarser in that shoulder than the heifer here in second, but she's also taller fronted also. This heifer wants to run downhill just a little bit, like a lot of things about this heifer, like how fresh she is, like her presentation. She's a deep-bodied heifer relative to her front end. She doesn't move, maybe just glide as much as I'd like when she gets around the ring, because her angles are pretty right when she stands there. Some of that's just because she is a little bit lower fronted as well. The heifer here in third, she's a big, high-performing, long, extended heifer that's really got a lot of length and femininity to her. I don't know if she'll body down enough as she goes on, or if she'll have enough shape when you get behind her. Her top line and neck are perfect. I like how her neck comes out of her shoulder. She's a long, level hip female as well. Just like to see a little bit more middle in her. The heifer here in fourth, she does have quite a bit to her relative to her frame size. She's just a little bit too quick patterned up through that head and front end. I don't see her having enough gas, maybe like those heifers ahead of her, but she's a heifer, sure got some dimension and rib to her, and she's just looser in her hip than this heifer concludes the class. This heifer's just a little bit tighter, wants to throw that tail head up, and I think with that she's just a little bit more tubular. She is very long up through that neck, laid in good through her chest, just like to give her some more substance and loosen her up a little bit.
Up next, our next division championship, early spring heifer calf division. There's a result on Class 6. First place, 55-68, Soul Sweet Dreams, 91-34 GET, Sarah Rose Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. Second, 54-82. That is Margie's Legacy, Cornerstone Farms, Winchester, Indiana. Third, 54-81, Margie, Paige Wickard, Wilkinson, Indiana. Fourth, 54-84, Margie Lola, Alexa Turner, Mahomet, Illinois. Fifth, 54-83, Zelda Riley Eisenhower, Yuma, Colorado. Program placings for Class 6 are as follows: 1, 3, 5, 4, 2. First and seconds in the ring from Classes 4, 5, and 6 for the Early Spring Heifer Calf Division Championship. Our judge from Thedford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman.
Nice lineup of heifers when we get them back out here. A lot of give and take in them. They're all a little bit different from one another, but that's just usually how it goes. I think relative to their classes, they were definitely the most complete. But the heifer that grabs me, it's just got the most tours. This heifer here out of the third class, she'll be your division champion.
Early Spring Heifer Calf Division Champion, 55-68 out of Class 6, Soul Sweet Dreams, Sarah Rose Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa.
For reserve, we'll go ahead and grab this heifer. It was second to her. I like a lot of things about this heifer. I think they're a pair that fits together quite well, even though there are some major differences in the heifers. But I think they're heifers that got a lot of good to offer. They got some femininity and they got some substance to them and just a tremendous amount of quality.
Reserve Early Spring Heifer Calf comes from that same class as your champion, Class 6. That is 54-82, Margie's Legacy, Cornerstone Farms, Winchester, Indiana. Up next, we have three classes in the next division. Three classes in the next division. Our first class of the three is Junior Heifer Calves. These born February 1st through February 16th, 2019. Once again, just a reminder before the Champion Heifer Drive, there's drawing for the 50-50 drawing to support the Lassie Association. The pot was up to $1,300 a little while ago. If you want tickets, come down and see the lady right here in front of me. She'll sell you some tickets. Don't forget to support the Lassie Association. Get your 50-50 drawing tickets now.
Really a striking heifer, wins this division here. I like how she's made. I like her color pattern, like how she's made up through her head and neck. There might be some more razor fronted, but I think she's pretty cowy. Like how she's made through her rib and over her spine. Structure and feet are awfully good. Maybe not just a tremendous amount of stifle in this heifer, but she's wide enough. Just a really good type of a heifer to win this division or class here for sure. The heifer here in second's the most complete left of the three. I like a lot of things about this heifer. Her pattern's nice. She's a long, clean-necked heifer that's got some depth of rib. Got some shape over her top, too, and got some meat in her. She's sound on her feet and legs, and I just think she's going to be an easier doing type than this heifer here in third. Really a pretty made, long, extended, very feminine heifer here. Just like to see a little bit more substance and middle in her to get her any higher. The heifer right here that concludes the class is the coarsest made heifer of the class. With that, she probably has as much muscle as anything in the class, too. Just like to jack her up on her front end a little bit and make her more feminine.
Here's results on class number 9, junior heifer calves. First place, 5506, Mona Lisa, Miller Smith, Pendleton, Indiana. Second, 5511, Peakview, Maxa Rosa, Blue Prairie Farm, LLC, Commerce City, Colorado. Third, 5532, Karen, Jaden Schneider, Stanley, Wisconsin. Fourth, 5512, Reba 19, Wesley Stone, Iowa, Kansas. Program placings for class 9 are as follows: 1, 4, 2, 3. Second class of 3 in this division. In the ring next, class number 10. 4 entries, junior heifer calves. These born January 15th through the 25th, 2019. Judge once again from Thetford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman.
Nice set of heifers here. The heifer that wins the class probably does so quite easily. I would like to see a little bit bigger foot underneath this female, but I think she's awfully good on top of that. Really long and extended through that neck, got some rib and some mass and some substance to her. Just a really good kind of a heifer with added look. The heifer here in seconds, maybe not as dialed in as the two heifers behind her, but I think what you see is kind of what you get here. Young man, you're doing a good job too, don't get me wrong. Just a very nice, solid kind of a heifer. With that, she's got some shape over her top and back through her hip. She's got some ruggedness to her and still a lot of length and femininity to her as well. Very nice heifer. Just got so much more to her than the heifers here in third and fourth. The heifer here in third, I like the silhouette of when she's on the stand still quite a bit. I don't know if there's enough true dimension or just shape to this heifer for me. I'd like to pull her apart in her skeleton and her rib and just give her more shape, especially down low in her hip. the heifer that concludes the class is probably a little bit smaller footed than what's ideal. With that comes smaller bone, just a little bit frailer made, and I think with that she gets too choppy in her stride. She's an excellent presented heifer. On the standstill, you gotta love how feminine and long-bodied she is. Got some upper hip in her as well, but she needs to have more foundation underneath of her to get any higher.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Here's the results on Class 10 Junior Heifer Calves. First place, 5508, Marvelous Margie, Colton Greenhorn from Bellbrook, Ohio. Second, 5523, Mirage Premium Brave, Lane Blankenship, Orlando, Oklahoma. In third, 5527, Cherry, Jackson Harlan, Bells, Texas. Fourth, 5524, Bobby's Fire Girl, Carly Getz from Oak Harbor, Ohio. Program placings for Class 10, 3, 4, 2, 1. In the ring next, our third and final class in the Junior Heifer Calf Division, Class number 11. Birth dates range January 2nd through January 10th, 2019.
Really a nice heifer to win the class here. Really like how comfortable this heifer is when she gets around the ring. With that, she's got some dimension on top of that. She's got some shape to her. Just a little bit more stale in some ways in terms of her presentation, but I think this is a really good kind of a female that's got some really solid features in terms of foot quality, rib, and substance, length. Just a very nice heifer starting the class. Gets around a lot more comfortable in this heifer here in second. Like a lot of things about this heifer, she's got some mass to her. She's opened up top in her rib and got some hip to her. Just a little bit more restricted when you get her to go. Probably has a little bit more in terms of composition than what's ideal, but a very nice type of a heifer. The heifer here that follows her is just a little more concaved in that forerib, a little bit lower fronted and tighter in that shoulder maybe than what's ideal. Really long and extended through that neck though, and for how pretty neck she is, she actually does have some depth of body to her. Very level in her pin set. Very nice type of a heifer. I just like to pull apart a little bit and give her more dimension.
Up next, Junior Heifer Calf Division Championship. First and seconds back in the ring from classes 9, 10, and 11. Here's the results on Class 11. First place, 55-17, Soul Red Mona Lisa, Gabriela Leone from Fowler, Colorado. Second, 55-14, Dream Lady, Clayton Poppy from Jerseyville, Illinois. Third, 55-18, Bobby's Primo Girl, Carly Watson, Appin, Ontario, Canada. Scratch was 55-20. Program placing, Scratch 3-1-2. Scratch 3-1-2. Junior Heifer Calf Division Championship, once again coming to the ring. First and seconds from classes 9, 10, and 11. Our judge, Thedford, Nebraska's Jason Hoffman.
Nice lineup of heifers when we get them back out here. The one thing about all these heifers is they got a lot of presence to them. But the heifer that suits me the best and is just the most complete is this heifer here out of the first class. Like this heifer a whole lot. Really easy to look at and got all the fundamentals, just a very high quality type of a heifer.
Junior heifer calf champion is 5506 out of class number 9, Mona Lisa. Miller Smith, Pendleton, Indiana. That'll move 5511 in consideration for reserve.
For reserve, it gets just a little bit closer. I like the foot size of this red heifer back here quite well. Got some shape and some true dimension to her. But I think a heifer that follows suit really good is this heifer here the young man's got. She'll be your reserve. I'd like to put a little bigger foot underneath of her, like the heifers on either side of her, but I think she's awfully good. Really long and extended through that neck. Got some true power and shape to her. Just a very high quality type of a heifer. Nice lineup from end to end, though. Good job.
Junior heifer calf reserve champion is 5508 out of class number 10. That is Marvelous Margie, living up to her name, Colton Greenhorn, Bellbrook, Ohio. Up next, we have two classes in the next division, the senior heifer calf division. It'll be class number 14 winter heifer calves. These born November 2nd through November 28th, 2018. Our first of two classes in the senior heifer calf division will lead things off there. Judge once again, Jason Hoffman from Thetford, Nebraska.
Very nice heifer to win the class here. Really long and extended really angular from her shoulder up to her jaw. She's good in her spine. She's got some shape to her. Got a little bit more condition on her than what you think. It's evident over her top and back through her hip. She wants to break a little bit just in that loin. Maybe not as fresh as she looks from the outside, but I think this is an awfully good heifer to win the class here. The heifer here in seconds, maybe not just that elite show heifer, but I think there's a lot of good in her. There's some cow in her. There's a lot of length and performance, and I think kind of what gets her up where she's at is just the size of her foot and bone and ruggedness. Got some true muscle and length in her too. Just like to soften her up a little bit in her middle. It gets a little more tubular, maybe in what's ideal. I like this heifer when she's standing still quite a bit. I'd just like to put a bigger foot and more bone and make her more flexible when she moves. Really nice silhouette though. The heifer here that concludes the class, it's got some length and some femininity to her, and she's got some muscle to her as well. When you get behind her, it's really evident of that. She's just a little bit straighter made, a little bit too restricted in her movement. I just like to soften her up throughout, but primarily on her structure, but a very nice type of a heifer.
Up next will be Class 15 Senior Heifer Calves, and then the Division Championship. Here's the results on Class 14. First place, 55-35, Maxim Margie, Colton Greenhorn, Bellbrook, Ohio. Second, 55-30, Sarah's Pride, Clayton Poppy from Jerseyville, Illinois. Third, 55-31, Armstrong Lilac, John Allen. The fourth, Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. Fourth, 55-29, Demi, Shane Carlisle, Amarillo, Texas. Up next, as I mentioned, will be Class 15 Senior Heifer Calves. 6 entries in the program. After this, our Division Championship. Judge once again from Thetford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman.
Nice class of heifers here. The heifer that wins the class does so kind of handily. I'd like to see her just a little bit more relaxed in her spine and back through her hip when she goes to move. But I think in terms of foot quality and just overall presence, femininity, and a heifer that's got some ribs, she needs to win the class. The heifer here in second is really long and extended relative to her frame size. She's just a little bit lower fronted, a little bit more tubular made maybe than what's ideal. Really got a lot of shape to her. She's got some hip in her. She's got some true muscle to her as well. nice feet underneath this female as well. The heifer here in third's the big high-performing heifer of the class, really long and extended and really got a lot of WDA, just a lot of volume to her, a lot of length, but the heifer's just too coarse made and not relaxed enough in her movement. Just so much more to her though than this heifer here in fourth. This heifer's a little bit straighter than what's ideal off both ends. She's long up through that neck. She's got some shape. She's got some muscle pattern to her, just like to loosen her up. I do think she balances out nicer through that spine and hip than the heifer. It concludes the class. This heifer too needs relaxed a little bit off both ends, but primarily like to fix her from her hooks to her pins and carry that down into her hock.
Up next will be the Senior Heifer Calf Division Championship. First and seconds in the ring for Class 14 and 15. Here's results on Class 15. First place, 55-45, Augusta Pride, Cole Wisman, Illinois City, Illinois. Second, 55-42, Demi, Kelly Turner, Mahomet, Illinois. Third, 55-38, Shiny Crystal, Brian Jordan, Washington Island, Wisconsin. In fourth, 55-41, Maple, Mackenzie Lowry, Boise City, Texas. Fifth place is 55-40, Halls Little Cedar, Madison Hall, Moscow, Kansas. Program placings for Class 15 are as follows: 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, scratch. Once again, first and seconds back in the ring for classes 14 and 15 for the Senior Heifer Calf Division Championship with our judge Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska.
Two very high quality class winners. I'm going to go ahead and use this young man's heifer though up here out of the first class. I like her in terms of her rib and her substance. And another big thing is the size of her vulva is quite a bit more substantial than the heifer behind her. There's just a lot of volume to this heifer. Like I say, there's just a little bit more condition in her than what you might see from the outside, I feel, but I think she's an awfully good type of a heifer. I will follow up with this other heifer that's marked similar to her. I like a lot of things about this heifer. Would like to pull her apart in some ways and just loosen her up in her spine. But the big thing is I'd like to make her reproductive parts just a little bit more prominent. Nice pair of females, though.
Up next, we move to Class 18 Summer Yearling Females, a single entry coming in the ring next. Here's a result in the Senior Heifer Calf Division Championship. Your champion is 55-35. That is Maxim Margie, Colton Greenhorn, Bellbrook, Ohio. The reserve is out of Class 15. That is 55-45, Augusta Pride, Cole Wisman, Illinois City, Illinois. Once again, coming in the ring next, Class 18, a single entry Summer Yearling Females. We have two classes in this next division, the Intermediate Division.
Nice class of heifers here. I really admire the top two heifers here for how far they are along in terms of gestation, but this heifer that wins the class is the most complete. She's the best to look at, just a very good fault-free type of a heifer. Very angular up through her front third, got some rib and some substance to her. Maybe not a tremendous amount of shape over her top or back through her hip, but I think this is a really good kind of a heifer. She's a fresher made heifer than this heifer here in second. This heifer's just a little too flat ribbed for me, and just how it ties into the back of her shoulder, I'd like to change a little bit. With that, I'd like to change her how she is back in her pones and give her more true shape and dimension throughout and loosen her up off of her hind feet and legs. Probably as good a footed heifer as there is in the class as this heifer here in third. She's a little bit too stale for me. She too labors out of that front end a little bit. Like to freshen her up just a little bit and give her more sweep and just a little bit more shape, but a really nice kind of a heifer that gets a little lower fronted. Heifer with a tremendous amount of shape and capacities, this heifer here in fourth. Really like to change this heifer from her knee to the ground, especially when you get her moving. And I'd like to freshen her up and lean her up just a little bit as well. But a tremendous amount of dimension to her, a lot of shape and a lot of mass to that rib. The heifer here that concludes the class, very long and extended, just like to make her a little better and give her more quality up through that head and offer more substance to this female throughout, but a really long and extended, fresh made type of a heifer.
I'll catch up on results here. We did have a Class 18 that was a scratch. This is Class 19 and your division championship. First place in champion 55-48, Max Rosa. Ryan Wickard, Wilkinson, Indiana. That was also your champion for the intermediate division. Second reserve 55-54, Myrtle, Bo Juliet. Aaron Curley from Denair, California. Third 55-53, Little Cedar Felicia, Benjamin Allen, Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. Fourth 55-51, Max Rosa Eve, Jamie Lyons, New Auburn, Wisconsin. Fifth 55-52, Hales Orange Girl Paul, Lindsay Mogg, Sumner, Michigan. Placings for Class 19 in the division are as follows: 2 in reserve, 3, 5, 4, 1 in champion. In the ring next, Class 22 early spring yearling females. This is also your also your junior division championship. Judge once again from Thedford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman.
Nice class of heifers here. The heifer that wins the class, to me, is the most complete. She's got the most shape to her. She's got some hip to her, and I think she's a better footed heifer than the female here in second. This heifer just got a lot of capacity, depth that's in proportion with her body. Maybe not the tallest fronted heifer or the biggest frame that we'll see, but a very complete kind of a female. The heifer here in second is a big, high-performing, long, extended heifer. Would like to change her just a little bit up through her head, but primarily I'd like to change her off those hind feet. Like a lot of things about this heifer, would offer some more shape all the way throughout, but a very good kind of a female. The heifer here in third is a very moderate frame female that's got a lot to her. She's just a little too jammed up to get any higher, but I think she offers just as overall as much quality as the front two ahead of her, just needs to be in a longer, more extended, more attractive package. The heifer here in fourth is really long, extended, tremendous amount of shape and hip, a lot of substance to this heifer up high. Like to tone her down a little bit in terms of her composition and loosen her up in her spine and her feet and legs. Heifer, it concludes the class, just a little too shallow and tight in that flank and heart, and like to just soften her up, pull her apart, and loosen her up as she gets around the ring, but she's a heifer that's got some length to her and got some femininity.
There's results on Class 22 Early Spring Yearling Females and your Junior Division Championship. First place in champion 55-74, Cumberland. Benjamin Nickel, McPherson, Kansas. Second in reserve in the division 55-55, Missing Mirage. Samantha Marie Schrog from Marion, South Dakota. Third 55-59, Cumberland. Matt Seeker, Trenton, Nebraska. Fourth 55-56, Missing Mirage. Taylor White, St. John's, Arizona. Fifth 55-58. Hall's Irish Reward, Madison Hall, Moscow, Kansas. Placings in program for Class 22 in that junior division. 1 in champion, 5, 3, 4, 2 in reserve. Up next, Class 25 Junior Yearling Females. Also, this is Class 25 Junior Yearling Females with our judge once again from Thetford, Nebraska, Jason Hoffman. Your attention, please, in the stadium arena and in the barn. An important announcement from the livestock department. Anyone that is parked in the north side of the cattle barns needs to move those vehicles immediately. We've got a change out going on with livestock coming in. Anybody parked on the north side of the cattle barn, please move your vehicles immediately or they will be towed. Also, anybody in the E tie-outs area that's parked, anybody in E tie-outs, those vehicles need to be moved immediately as well. Thank you. So once again, this is Class 25 Junior Yearling Females and also your Senior Yearling Female Division Championship. We have one more class after this, a single entry and a division, and then the grand champion Shorthorn female selection. That's what's ahead.
What an awesome class of heifers here. There's a lot of different ways you can go, but to me, the heifer that's got the most dimension to her is this heifer here that wins the class. She's still plenty feminine as well and laid in neat in that shoulder. She could have a shot more foot under her, but I think she gets around the ring. The soundness of the top three here. Relative to her size, love how deep she is. She's good back through her hip. A heifer that's very easy to look at, and there's no question to me that this heifer has as much internal dimension as any of the heifers in the lineup. The heifer here in second's a big, striking, long profile type of heifer. She gets just a little bit pigeon-toed off those front two. I'd like to see her pulled apart just a little bit more behind her shoulder. You get behind this heifer and she's got a lot of pin width really deep down below. Not as comfortable and doesn't glide like our class winner when she's on the move, but I think she's got enough more reach off all four to go ahead and get over this heifer here in third. Beautifully presented heifer here in third. On the standstill, I love this heifer, and she probably wins the class. She gets just a little shorter and choppier strided when you ask her to go. She doesn't have as much forerib and substance and not as pulled apart as what I'd like to freshen her up a little bit in her underline as well. But a beautifully presented, long, extended heifer. I like this heifer here in fourth a lot, and it's terrible that she's got to be fourth because a lot of shows I'm sure this heifer could win. The biggest thing to me is I'd like to change those hind feet on this heifer. With that, she also gets tighter in her spine, kind of wants to duck off just a little bit in her pin set, like to pull her apart a little bit in her forerib, but really a long, extended, very eye-pleasing type of a heifer, and that's just how deep this class is to have a heifer like that fourth. This heifer here in fifth, just straight her off both ends, like to make her more comfortable as she goes and like to give her way more definition to her heel and just freshen her up a little bit as she's stale in her kind. But she too is a big barreled heifer that's got some meat in her, got a tremendous amount of length as well.
There's a result on Class 25 and your senior champion for the division. First place in champion 55-69, Mark Inscape, Lafayette, Indiana. Second and reserve in the division 55-67, Margie, Cornerstone Farms, Winchester, Indiana. Third 55-73, 10 Queens, Sarah Rose Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. Fifth 55-66, Olson Revival's Commodity, Kaya Hendrickson, St. Ignatius, Montana. Up next, single entry for Class 29 2-year-old cow-calf pair. And your champion cow-calf pair selection. After this, we'll have our champion reserves come back in for the grand champion Shorthorn female selection with our judge Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska.
Really a nice pair here. I remember this heifer calf from earlier too, but an exceptionally good pair. Cow's a roomy middled female with a lot of length and extension, and she's even made herself, or she's outproduced herself, as I think the heifer calf is a higher quality individual than the cow, and that's what this production's all about. So very good representation with a pair here. Nice job.
Here's results on Class 29 2-year-old cow-calf pairs and your champion cow-calf pair for the division. First place in champion 55-75, True Gypsy Rose. Brian Jordan, Washington Island, Wisconsin. Champion reserves back in the ring from each of our divisions for your grand champion selection. Our judge once again for this grand champion selection, Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska, a graduate of Kansas State University. He grew up on a registered cow-calf operation. They currently have a ranch in Nebraska Sand Hills and sell Hereford, Angus, and Sem-Angus cattle. Their production sales are in February and in September. They market 500 bulls and 500 females each and every year. Our judge once again for this grand champion selection, Jason Hoffman, Thedford, Nebraska. I want to thank the Shorthorn Country Magazine once again for sponsoring all the banners for this year's National Shorthorn Show. Leading in our grand champion lineup, the 2019-20 National Shorthorn Lassie Queen, Desiree Logsden of Amanda, Ohio. Currently a senior at Wilmington College studying ag business with a minor in accounting. She's a daughter of Barry and Renee Logsden and the granddaughter of the late Bob and Murdy Foster. Desiree is a third-generation Shorthorn breeder representing her family farm, which is Foster Farms. She exhibits Shorthorn cattle at the state and national levels. She's currently the president of the Ohio Shorthorn Junior Association. Folks, put your hands together for our National Shorthorn Lassie Queen, Desiree Logsden of Amanda, Ohio. Okay, so we mentioned before the heifer drive they were collecting tickets. Well, they've quit selling tickets. They're doing the 50-50 drawing right here in front of me to support the Lassie Association. And she told me the pot was up to $1,565, and that means somebody's going to win $782.50. And, of course, the other $782.50 goes to the Lassie Association. So here's the winning ticket. Harlan. Congratulations, Harlan. You are $782.50 richer. Thanks for supporting the Lassie Association. Much appreciated. Once again, this is your grand champion Shorthorn female selection. Our judge, Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska. How about this lineup in front of you here, folks, as we finish out our Shorthorn show? Just a quick reminder, our Stadium Arena sponsors, we want to thank the Colorado Farm Show, Big Bubba's, John Deere, and Saunders Construction for sponsoring our shows in the Stadium Arena. And just a reminder for coming up tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock start time, Simmental Junior Breeding Heifer Show and the Simmental Bull Show will lead things off tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock here in the Stadium Arena. Once again, our National Shorthorn Female Show and National Shorthorn Bull Show dedicated to the Jungles Shorthorn Farm in memory of Derek Jungles. Also, don't forget the official livestock photographer for the National Western is Show Champions. Check out the pictures taken in the arena and at the backdrop and purchase pictures online at showchampions.com.
When we get back out here, I think we have an outstanding lineup of females. Relative to their divisions, I think they complement and represent their divisions extremely well in terms of quality, and these cattle put the most good up. I'm just very, very impressed and very happy. I knew this would be good, especially in the heifer division, but I thought your bull show had an awesome representation of shorthorn cattle, and this heifer division is as good as I'd hoped or even better, because there's just so many good tools here to use. You people know the genetics inside and out as shorthorn breeders, so you need to be comfortable in your own decisions. But I know when I come out here in any breed, I use what I'd like to take home. The kind of cattle I think will work in a lot of different scenarios. The heifer calves you look at is the kind you'd want to make yearlings out of, and that's usually how you draw your conclusions. Your association has great leadership. Monty Souls, known for a long time, did a tremendous amount of good within our own respective breed as well. It's excellent to have a guy like him, and all the way through. Know a lot of your staff, have a lot of admiration, a lot of family, friends involved as well. There's no better place to me to judge than the National Western, and seeing this slideshow for the last week too is awesome, and so many people you respect you see pop up through there. It's nice to be out here sorting your cattle. Excellent lineup of females. I'll go pick the two that suit me the best. One's built for the long haul, and one's built to make the cow, just because she's further along in life. But awesome set of cattle here.
How about a hand for a judge and this lineup, Jason Hoffman from Thedford, Nebraska. Great working with you again, Jason. Grand champion Shorthorn female for the 2020 National Western Stock Show, 55.69. That comes out of Class 25 in the senior division. That is CSF Margie 830 AVXET. Mark Inskeep, Lafayette, Indiana. Congratulations. That'll move 55.67 in consideration reserve. Reserve Grand Champion, Shorthorn female for the 2020 National Western Stock Show comes out of the late spring heifer calf division and class number 1. 54.56, Steck WSCC Chelsea HC 911G, Keegan Steck, Woodstock, Minnesota. Congratulations once again to all our participants in the grand drive and all of our participants throughout today's shows.